Yeah. Good morning, students. Am I audible? Can someone respond, please? Yeah. Sorry, I had some technical issue. I had to log off. So, what were we discussing? I think there is one chapter that is pending for this thing, right? Term 2. That is magnetic effects of current. So, what are they teaching in your school? Can someone tell me? Aditi? Yeah, Aditi, what are they teaching in your school? Harita, what about you? That is DAV.
So they're teaching the field line, sir.
So they started magnetic effects of current, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So they have completed current electricity?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. So if you see, I have also started this chapter long back, right? Even before the term one exams, I started it. I'm not sure how many of you have gone through the videos again, where I speak about the magnetic field lines and how to find the direction of magnetic field and all those things. So what we'll do, we'll start this chapter from the beginning itself, where I'll be discussing some important points also related to it. Okay. So I want interaction. And if there is any doubt, you need to ensure that you stop me. So confirm if you're able to see my screen. Yeah. I hope you're able to see my screen, right? So the topic is called as magnetic effects of electric current. So what does this magnetic effects of electric current mean? Can someone tell me what is the objective of this chapter? Why, like, what exactly are we going to study? If you see the 12th chapter, guys, are you able to see my screen or not?
No, sir.
So 1 minute. Now is it possible? Yeah. So if you see chapter 12, so what does chapter 12 mainly speak about? It speaks about the current, electricity. So what is the meaning of this current, electricity? So what is the meaning of current, electricity? So what did we learn in this chapter? In this chapter, we were mainly concentrating on what happens to the charges in motion. Am I right? So what happens when there are charges in motion, right? So how do you put the charges in motion? By applying the potential difference and all those things, right? So if you see chapter 12, we were mainly concerned about how these charges are flowing through an electric conductor, how these charges are being handled, how are they able to produce heat. So what will happen when they pass through resistors in series, what will happen when they pass through resistors in parallel, and all those things, right? Whereas in this chapter, that is in magnetic effects of electric current, what does the name of the chapter hint us? So what is it trying to tell us? So there are two things that are combined. One is electric current. So what do you mean by electric current? We have already discussed flow of charges. So what do you mean by magnetic effects, guys? I want someone to answer this. So what do you mean by magnetic effects of electric current? Yeah. What is magnetic effects of electric current? There is no one speaking. I told you in the beginning itself, class has to be interactive. Whether you know or not, try to answer. No. When you do a self-study, how are you going to understand when you go for higher classes? If you're not going to speak, I'm ready to discuss. I'm discussing. I'm not asking any question. What is your understanding? Tell me. This is not a test. Whatever you know,
So
speak.
the
No?
effect.
Yeah. What the effect of?
So the effect of magnets when electricity is passed.
Not exactly. No. Magnetic effects of electric current means here there is no magnet at all in the first place. Right. So what is happening is they are trying to say if there is electric current present around the presence of around the electric current, that is around the presence of electric current, you can find magnetism. That is what they're trying to say. So that is the meaning of magnetic effect of electric current. Okay. So that's what they're saying. No? I will read out the points. In the previous chapter, what did we learn? We learned about electricity. We learned about the heating effects of electric current and its applications in iron, right? Iron box. Then we discussed about toasters, heaters, and all those things. So what would be the other effects of electric current? So we know that electric current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet. So this is what they're trying to say. That is the meaning of magnetic effects of electric current. Means if there is electric current present, what is present around it? So if there is an electric current carrying conductor, what is present around this? There is magnetism. This is the first point that you need to have it in your mind. So for that, there is a small activity that we can perform. Okay. So you need to take a straight, this works. Okay. You need to take a straight, thick copper wire and place it between the points X and Y. Okay. There is a copper wire. You're able to see a brown color wire, right? So in that brown color wire, if you connect it through a rheostat to a battery, right? The wire XY is kept perpendicular to the plane of the paper. Horizontally place a small compass near the copper wire. Okay. So when you place a compass, so what is basically a compass? So what is a compass? So it is some device.
It is used to find different.
It is used to find
Direction.
Direction of what? Direction of? You're almost there. Please complete the statement. It's not more than direction. It is something else. It is a device which can be used to test whether there is magnetic field or not. And yeah, obviously it is going to show the direction like north, south, and all those things. What you told is right. But how is it able to show direction? That is the question. Right? So compass is as of now, except that it is a device which can show directions by using the principle of magnetism. Okay. Horizontally, what you need to do is you need to place a small compass near the copper wire. See the position of this needle. Now, what you will do is you will pass the current through the circuit by inserting the key into the plug. Where is it? So this is the key. When you plug the key into the when you plug in the key, what will happen is there will be a change in position of the magnetic needle taking place. So what is happening? There will be a change in position in the magnetic needle taking place. With that, what can you conclude? So with that, what can you conclude? You can conclude that electric current carrying conductors will generate magnetic field around them. As soon as you remove the key, in some amount of time, you can see that the needle will again come back to its original position. Okay. So what is going to happen is we see that the needle will be deflected. So what does it mean? When will the needle get deflected? It means that the electric current through the copper wire has produced magnetic effect because needle will respond only to magnetism, not to electric current. Okay, then we can say then we can come to an important conclusion, that is electricity and magnetism are interrelated. You're able to understand this statement? So here, which one is generating the other? Is electricity generating magnetism or magnetism generating electricity?
Electricity is generating magnetism.
Yes, that is the meaning of magnetic effects of electric current. Okay. So that is the first point to be noted. So here they didn't say electricity is like, look at the statement. Thus we can say electricity and magnetism are linked to each other. They didn't conclude saying that electricity can generate magnetism. Electricity alone can generate magnetism. So what are the two branches? Electricity and magnetism. So electricity is able to generate magnetism. What about the vice versa? What about the vice versa? That is, what about the reverse process? Yes, that is also possible, but we'll learn about this later. That is, magnetism can also generate electricity. Okay. So what we are going to, so then what about the reverse possibility of an electric current of moving magnets? In this chapter, we'll study the magnetic fields and such electromagnetic effects. Okay, so during this process, what we will do is we'll study about the electromagnets and electric motors, which involve the magnetic effect of electric current, and electric generators, which involve the electric effect of moving magnets. So have this in your mind. When we go to that concept, we'll be able to remember it. So this observation was first done by a scientist named Oersted. So Hans Christian Oersted. So he was the first one. When he was taking a class, he tried to show some demonstration with respect to electric current, but to his surprise, he was the first person who observed that the compass needle responded to electric current. So that is when the concept of magnetism from electricity came into existence. That is when people started thinking and understanding that electricity and magnetism are related. Before that, what people thought is they both are different branches. But later we came to a conclusion, which is like they are linked to each other, which is helping us in the current era. If you see, many applications of such phenomena is there, especially electromagnetism. Not sure if you have heard of hyperloop and all those things. So all those things work on the concept of electromagnetism only. So the branch, the combined branch is what we call it as electromagnetism. Okay. So he was one of, I'm just reading this out. He was one of the leading scientists of the 19th century. So he was one of the crucial parts in understanding the concept of electromagnetism. So in 1820, what happened? He accidentally, so this was during his lecture, he discovered that a compass needle got deflected when an electric current passed through a metallic wire placed nearby. Through his observation, what was done is Oersted showed that electricity and magnetism were related phenomena. His research later created technologies such as, I told you, right, radio, television, fiber optics means we are using this internet today, right? So all the internet internet facilities available today are based on the concept of optical fibers only, that is fiber optics. That is a faster technology compared to the previous technology that was existing. So all these things have happened only because of this important observation that electricity will generate magnetism, and that branch is what we call it as electromagnetism. Have this in your mind, right? Next is the unit of magnetic field strength is named the Oersted in his honor. Okay. So have this in your mind. Am I clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, there comes an important question. So I have a question to ask you. You people think and tell me. You would have played with magnets. I'm sure with that. You would have played with magnets. Like you take a magnet closer to an iron needle. What will happen? Let's say there is an iron needle lying on your table. Sharia. So let's say you have a table on which there is an iron needle, and I take a magnet closer to it. Okay. Okay. Let's not take this north-south also as of now. Let's say there is a small button-shaped magnet that you have in your hand. If you take close to this needle, okay, you stop it here. What will you observe? If this magnet is strong enough, what will you observe? Magnet is held at this position. It is not moved. Magnet is held here. Right. So if it is held here, and you have a needle at the bottom, okay, the magnet is strong enough. I repeat, this magnet is strong enough. What do I mean by strong enough? It is strong enough to attract the other particles. Generally it does, right? So what will this magnet do to the needle is my question. Right? What is the magnet going to do to the needle?
It will attract the needle.
So attract the needle in the sense this needle will start jumping like this. Right? So the needle will start jumping and it will go and stick to the magnet. Accepted? Right? This is what is going to happen logically, right? Right. So when this is going to be the scenario, my question is, I use the word attract. Okay. So remember, attraction and repulsion are forces. So what did we learn about force in our 9th standard? We learned that force is a push or a pull, right? Which causes displacement of the object, depending on whether it is balanced or unbalanced. That is a different story. But basically, force means it's a push or pull, right? So here, this is getting attracted in the sense the needle is getting pulled towards the magnet. Accepted? If I have to give a literal meaning to it, I'm trying to understand that this needle is being pulled by the magnet. If that is the case, magnet is applying a force on this. But the question I need to answer is, are you able to see any magnetism with your naked eyes here? Why is
No,
it
sir.
happening? You're not able to see, right? Then it is very difficult for us to come with a theory. It is very important for us to understand anything in a diagrammatic format for us to convey that information to someone else. Right? How will you say that there is magnetic field here? You cannot just like that say that which is invisible to our eyes, right? For that, what they did is they came up with the concept of magnetic field is obviously known, and they came up with the concept of field lines. So field lines are basically a diagrammatic representation. You know what is field? You know what is lines? Right? Line literally doesn't mean a straight line. They are basically curves. I'll come to that point. So I need to answer a question. I understood that electric current will generate magnetism. Okay. But if it's generating magnetism, what is the region present around that electric conductor called as? There should be a technical name I need to give. Right. So what is the technical name that I can give for the region around the magnet where these kinds of effects are generated? Can you guess it? It's there in front of your eyes. The name is there in front of your eyes. So what I'm trying to say is, I have a current carrying conductor. A compass is placed. Compass, observe, it is not in contact with the current carrying conductor, but still the compass is responding to something. Means it is feeling something. What is happening to it? Means around this current carrying conductor, there is a particular area. Correct? Huh? There is a particular area, or I call it as a region. So there is a particular region around this magnet where the compass is able to sense something. And that region is what we call it as magnetic field. Accepted? Right. So you read the statement now. So field is what? What is basically, if I say cricket field, what will you understand? It is a ground, right? Where the cricketers play a match. Right. When they say out of the field, what are you going to say? The ball has gone out of the field. Means it is out of the region where the cricket is supposed to be played. In a similar way, if I call something called as magnetic field, it is a region. When I say region, it is an area in which you can sense the presence of magnetism. So we are familiar with the fact that compass needle gets deflected when brought near a bar magnet. No doubt in that. A compass needle is in fact a small bar magnet. So what is a compass needle? If someone asks you, there is a one mark question often asked. So what does a compass needle basically consist of? It consists of a needle, right? With a pointer like this. That needle is what we call it as a small bar magnet. Okay. So a compass needle is in fact a small bar magnet the ends of the compass needle ends of the compass needle point approximately towards the north and south directions. Next is the end pointing towards the north is what we call it as the north seeking or north pole, and the end pointing the south is generally called as the south seeking or the south pole. Through various activities, we have observed that like poles will repel while the unlike poles tend to attract each other. This is what we need to know. Okay. So this is the basic theory of how a compass responds to magnetic field. Now there is a question. Why does a compass needle get deflected when brought near a bar magnet? What will happen to it? So what is the answer you are going to write? Why does a compass needle get deflected when brought near a bar magnet? What is the answer you will write? The answer is in front of your eyes. Guys, are you there or not? I told you in the beginning of the class whether it is right or wrong, interact with me. Unfortunately, again, we have to come back to online, and if there's going to be the scenario, I will definitely lose my motivation. I'm not going to give you any extra information. You'll not enjoy the teaching then if I don't have response from you. Okay, if the class has to be good, you also have to speak. I alone can't keep shouting for 1 hour. Are you guys there or not?
So,
Please tell me, ma.
so the compass needle is also the a bar magnet.
Yes, a compass needle is also a bar magnet, due to which what will happen?
So the magnetic field lines will get it.
Yeah, magnetic field lines. I didn't use the word magnetic field lines till now, but okay, with whatever knowledge you have, you tell.
Yes, there when they come in contact with each other, they start repelling the unlike poles. Sorry, the like poles.
Okay, here they didn't ask about repelling or attracting. They only use the word deflected. So what do you mean by deflected? Deflected means turning like this. So basically, what is happening to the compass needle? Is it getting translational motion or rotation motion? Think about it. Is the compass needle moving like this, or is the compass needle revolving like this? So it is rotating, correct? So that is the meaning of deflection. I want you to understand the question. Now read the question. Why does a compass needle get deflected? Means why is it rotating when brought near a bar magnet? Because your logic is right. The compass needle itself is a small bar magnet, right? What is it? The compass needle itself is a small bar magnet, and when two magnets are placed close to each other, there is something called as, this is a word which I'm using for you guys to understand. There is something called as TORQE, that is torque. So what will happen is the compass needle will experience some torque due to which the deflection takes place. So how should you write the answer in the exam is, a compass needle is in fact a small bar magnet. First point. So write it down. A compass needle is in fact a small bar magnet. When the magnet is brought in the presence of another magnet, when the magnet is brought into the presence of another magnet, it starts experiencing torque. It starts experiencing torque, hence it gets deflected. Hence it gets deflected.
So what is torque?
Torque is rotational force. torque is called as, if you want to see, this is the simplest translation I can give you. Torque means rotational force. So you know what is force, right? Force is a push or a pull, which is responsible for an object to move. So when I say moving, listen to this carefully and answer. Okay, Haritha, listen to this. When I say moving, the object can either move in a path like this. Suppose there is a ball. Okay. The ball can either move completely in this direction, or the ball can move like this, or the ball can move like this and like this. So what is the meaning of the first diagram? So what is the meaning of the first diagram that I've drawn here?
Sir, it is moving straight.
Yes, it's called as, if I have to speak technically, it is called as translatory motion. Okay, it is called as translatory motion. Second, if it is revolving like this, so it is called as rotational motion, means it is only going to revolve. But what about the third one? It is having rotational plus translational. Okay. Now listen to this carefully. Last year you would have learned about force, but no one would have told you this point. That force was responsible only for, out of the three motions, force is responsible for what? Which motion? So out of the three concepts that are existing, force is responsible for which motion?
Sir, is it translatory motion?
So where all do you find translatory motion? In the diagrams that I've drawn.
Sir, in the first one and third one, sir.
Yes, first and third one, right? So force is responsible for translational motion. Now, what do I call torque as? Torque is rotational force, means who is responsible for rotational motion? It is torque. Okay, that's the name. You learn about it in depth in the next year. In your 11th grade, you learn about it clearly, provided you're going to take science group. Okay, so here, this is second one and the third one are able to revolve due to whom? Due to torque. Am I clear, guys? Haritha, did you get your answer?
Yes, sir.
Right. If I have to give you a simple explanation of this real-time example, let's say I have a nail. You know what is the difference between? Everyone knows what is the difference between nail and a screw. Do you guys know what is the difference? Let us say I have a wooden block. Okay. I have a wooden block. On the wooden block, I keep a nail like this, and I keep a screw like this. Okay. So how can I push this nail into this wooden box? If I have to make that nail go into the wooden box, what am I supposed to do?
So hammer
Hit with the
the
hammer.
nail, sir.
Hammer, right? When I hammer it, what kind of a motion is it going to have?
Translatory.
Translatory motion.
Have translatory motion, because the nail will go straight into this. Okay. If I have to put the screw into the same wooden panel, what am I supposed to do?
Sir,
I need
make
to-
a hole in the box and screw
Then
in.
screw in the sense, what do you mean? From the top, you
Sir,
put something-
like
Rotate it.
rotate it, sir, with
Yeah,
the screw.
you have seen it, right? Have you ever seen it when there is a repair work going at your home? So there will be a screwdriver. You know what is a screwdriver, right? That screwdriver will rotate. Is that clear? So while you're rotating, what will happen? This will slowly go into the wooden panel. So both have gone in, but the path through which you sent them is different. So if somebody asks you in the future, okay, for you to have a clarity, somebody asks you whether you have applied force or torque on nail, what will you say?
Force.
You applied force because it has translatory motion. Whereas you applied torque on whom? On the
Screw.
Now you're able to understand. So what is it now? So this word deflection has a very big story behind it. Is it clear? Now you guys are clear? You're able to visualize? That is more important for me. Are you guys able to visualize what I meant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so now I'm going to come to the concept of magnetic field and magnetic field lines. So listen to this. So there is an activity. There is another activity which we can perform actually. So you take a white paper, okay, using some adhesive material. And sorry, you take a white paper on a drawing board. So drawing board is basically a wooden pad. Okay, it'll be slightly thick and all those things. You place a paper on top of it. Okay. Then what are you supposed to do? You place a bar magnet in the center of the paper. You know what is a bar magnet, right? It will look like a chocolate bar. You have 5-star chocolate, right? Do something like a bar. So which has North Pole and South Pole. Okay? Bar magnet, magnets generally have 2 poles. Have this in your mind. So when you place it at the center, what you're supposed to do is take some iron filings. Iron filings are nothing but powdered iron. They'll be black in color. Okay. Some iron filings uniformly around the bar magnet. Okay. A salt sprinkler may be used for this. You know what is a salt sprinkler, right? You sprinkle salt. You would have seen in hotels and all those things, salt and pepper. There are some sprinklers. So through that, if you are able to put the particles on top of the bar, you sprinkle the iron filings uniformly around it. So slowly drop it around the paper. Now, what you do is you just gently tap the sense, just just slightly disturb the board on which this paper is kept. After some time, what you will observe is a shape like this. Okay. So are you able to see a pattern in that? Are you able to see a
Yes,
pattern?
sir.
Right. So what is happening? So if you observe, if you zoom and see, one thing that I'm able to see is the iron particles are closer near the poles. And as you keep moving away, the distance between the iron particles is also increasing. So more importantly, I'm able to see some kind of lines like this. As of now, I don't know what these lines are. Okay. There are some lines that are appearing like this. Correct? Right. So those lines which are getting aligned in this pattern is what we call it as magnetic field line. Okay. The question is, why do the iron filings arrange themselves in such a pattern? And what does this pattern demonstrate? So what they're trying to say is the magnet exerts its influence in the region surrounding it. So there is magnet, right? Obviously, around the magnet, what will you have? You have magnetic field. So in that magnetic field region, if you drop these iron filings, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? This kind of a pattern is going to get generated, right? Therefore, the iron filings will start experiencing force, and the force that exerted makes the iron filings to arrange in such a pattern. And this region surrounding the magnet in which the force of the magnet can be detected is said to be magnetic field. Magnetic field is basically what? It is a region around whom? A region around a magnet where the magnetic force can be experienced. That is what they're trying to say in simple terms. Right? So the lines along which you're able to see, lines means not literally lines. What did I say? Are they lines? They're not lines, they're curves actually. The lines along which the magnetic filings align themselves represent the magnetic field lines. Okay, they represent the magnetic field lines, or more technically, it is also called as magnetic lines of force. Both are same. Magnetic lines of force or magnetic field lines both mean the same. Right? I hope I'm clear till this point, right? So this is an experiment that is performed with the help of, yeah, please tell me. Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is an experiment that we perform with the help of a bar magnet and iron filings. But the question is this the only way? Answer is no. Are there other ways of obtaining magnetic field lines around a bar magnet? Yes, you can do that. How can you do that? You can draw the field lines of a bar magnet around by yourself with the help of a compass. So what you need to do is take a small compass and a bar magnet. Then take a compass and a, where is it, bar magnet. Now place the magnet on a sheet of white paper fixed onto a drawing board. So place the magnet on a sheet of white paper. This is fixed to the board. Then what you do is mark the boundary of the magnet. Okay. So boundary means you draw a region around it. You will draw something like this. Mark the boundary around the magnet. Now what you do is place the compass near the north pole of the magnet. So near the north pole of the magnet, if you place this compass, then what do you think will happen to the north pole in the compass itself? Will it be closer to the north pole of the magnet or will it be away from the north pole of the magnet?
Away from the
So
north
you
pole of the
take
magnet.
the compass away from, because what did the logic tell us? They told us that like poles will repel. So when they're going to get repelled, the north pole is obviously going to be away. Okay, how many compasses you have in your hand? You have only one compass. Okay, when that is going to be the case, you take a pen and mark the position of the north pole that the pointer is showing. Okay, so mark this position. Then what you're supposed to do is take this compass and move it to a slightly greater distance. If you move it to a slightly greater distance away from this north pole, an important thing that you're going to observe is the north pole will not be in this direction anymore. It will slightly get deflected in this way. That is happening because of the distance and all other things, which you will get clarity only if you know the mathematical equations. You will be seeing those in 12th standard. Don't worry about it as of now. So as of now, except that this needle is there, right? Initially, it was showing like this, but so there's the first position, second position. But in the second position, it took a slight turn where this is going to be the north pole. Now mark this point. Now what you need to do after you have marked, take the compass, move it to the third position. When you move it to the third position, you can observe that the deflection is even more. So mark this as the third point. Fourth position, somewhat here. Fifth position, here. Sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. So as you come closer to the south pole, you can observe that the north pole will completely come towards the south pole. That is what is happening here. See here north pole, here you have south pole. I hope you're able to understand, right? I hope I'm clear with this point.
Yes.
Now what
Yes,
is going to happen? So why did we plot all these points? So when you plot all these points from the north pole, you join all these dots together, you will get a shape like this. And this shape is what is called as magnetic field line. And this magnetic field line has a direction. What is the direction? The direction is from north to south outside the magnet and south to north inside the magnet. This is what happens. So magnetic field lines always form a complete loop. Is that clear, guys? Is that clear?
yes, sir.
Yes. No. I drew the arrow mark, right? But if I have to give a direction, I need to know the definition of it. I just told it is from north to south. So in this direction, like you take any position, if you place a compass at that position in the on the magnetic field line, okay, if I place it at a particular position, if I place a compass on a particular position of the magnetic field lines, what is happening? How did I choose the arrow mark? I chose the arrow mark in the direction in which the north pole of the compass is facing. Did you observe? Because what is this direction? So here, north, 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 and here it is going to be north. So north is going to get faced in this direction. So what am I trying to say is magnetic field line, no doubt, is from north pole to south pole of the magnet. But what is the direction at any point? So if I want to find the direction of magnetic field at a particular point, what am I supposed to do is I need to draw a tangent at that point, and the tangent should be facing the tangent should be in the direction of north pole of the compass. That is what I'm trying to say. Is the statement clear? This is a very, very important point. Is the statement
Sir,
clear?
can you repeat?
Okay. So you're able to understand this magnetic field line. This curve you're able to understand, right?
Yes.
Right. So on this curve, if I place a magnet like this, then what will happen is the north pole will show this direction. North pole of whom? North pole of the compass will show this direction, and that direction at that point is the direction of magnetic field. So basically, the direction of magnetic field is chosen with the help of whom? With the help of the north pole of the compass. So whatever is the direction of north pole of the compass at a given point will be the direction of magnetic field at that point. That is what we are trying to say. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So based on this, if you repeat the experiment multiple times, this is how the magnetic field lines around a small bar magnet will look like. Okay. Generally around any bigger bar magnet also, but for simplicity, we'll be taking a small bar magnet to understand. Okay. So basically, what is magnetic field? It is a quantity that has both direction and magnitude. So the direction of magnetic field, this is an important point I told you. The direction of magnetic field is taken. Everybody has textbook, right, in your hand currently. Please underline this. The direction of magnetic field is taken to be the direction in which a north pole of the compass needle moves inside it. So this is the important point. So if you keep doing this procedure, it is taken by convection that the field lines emerge from the north pole and merge at the south pole. Note the arrow marks on the field at 13.4. If you see, they are away from the north pole and towards the south pole. So inside the magnet, what will happen is the direction of, so inside the magnet, what will happen? The direction of field lines is from south pole to its north pole. Thus, a very, very important point to be noted here is magnetic field lines. Magnetic field lines are always closed curves. Okay. Next is, by looking at the magnetic field lines, you can tell which position has more strength of the magnetic field. So how can you say that? The relative strength of the magnetic field means comparative strength of the magnetic field between two positions can be done by looking at the diagram itself. How are you going to do it? The relative strength of the magnetic field is shown by the degree of closeness of the field line. Means if I take two positions, if I take this as the first position, if I take this as the second position, what am I trying to say? The relative strength can be compared on the compared by the relative closeness of the magnetic field line. So what are the two positions that you have, 1 and 2? So in which position are the is the closeness more? In which position is the closeness more?
Second one.
Closeness of field lines, ma? Okay.
One, sir.
I'll be clear. So this point is 1. I'll take this point is 2. Now tell me.
First one, sir.
One.
First. So 1,
The-
the relative closeness is more. So what can you conclude from that? The magnetic field strength at that position is more or less?
More.
it is more. That is the meaning of the statement. The relative strength of the magnetic field lines is shown by the degree of closeness of the field lines. The field is stronger, that is the force acting on the pole of another magnet placed is greater where the field lines are crowded. That is the meaning. So wherever the field lines are closer to each other, the strength is going to be more. And the last important point is understand that you cannot have two field lines to cross each other. Means there cannot be one field line like this and other field line like this, because if they intersect, what will happen is, if you place a compass at the point, what did I say is, so how do you choose the direction of magnetic field? Who chooses? With the help of compass. Whatever is the direction in which the north pole of the compass is facing is the direction in which the magnetic field is there. Correct? Right.
Yes, sir.
So if they intersect, what is going to happen? The compass has only one north pole. But if it intersects, what are you trying to say? You're trying to say that the compass is showing north pole in two different directions at the same time. Is that possible?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
So that is what they're trying to say. No field lines are found to cross each other. Cross each other means intersect. Because if they did, it would mean that at the point of intersection, the compass needle will start pointing in two different directions, which is obviously not going to be a possible thing. Right. So this is all about magnetic field and field lines. Okay. We will try to answer some questions based on this. Draw magnetic field lines around a bar magnet. Will you be able to draw it? So which figure are we supposed to
Yes,
refer?
sir.
You refer to 13.4. Yes.
13.
So can you what? Yeah, 13.4. What happens? Magnetic field lines are away from the North Pole and towards the South Pole, outside the magnet, and they are from South Pole to North Pole inside the magnet. Accepted? Right. Second, list the properties of magnetic field lines. I already told you. Right. What are the properties? First one, magnetic field starts at North Pole and ends at magnetic field is from North Pole to South Pole outside the magnet and South Pole to North Pole inside the magnet. First point. Second, the relative strength of magnetic field at a particular point is given by the closeness of the lines. So more is the number of field lines, more is going to be the strength. That is the second property. And what is the third property? No two field lines can intersect. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Last point. What is it? Why don't two magnetic field lines of force intersect each other? Why is it happening? It is because if they intersect, then you place a compass at the point of intersection, then the compass would point two directions of North Pole. Yes, two directions of North Pole at the same time, which is not possible.
Possible.
So that is the answer for these three, and these three are very important questions also in exam perspective. See, mostly this chapter, right? As far as this chapter is concerned, you will have more of 1 and 2 mark questions because this is a very, very tricky concept. Like you don't have much problems to solve. No mathematical equation throughout this chapter, like how you have in current electricity. So current electricity, we need to work more on problems. Of course, for solving problems, you need to have good theory base. That's a different story. But here, more than problems, you need to know the content and the activities. We'll be discussing the activities. Is that clear, guys? So this is all about.
Yes, sir.
This is all about the introduction to this chapter, magnetic field and field lines. Okay. So once this is over, the next part that we are supposed to discuss is magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor. So till now we didn't discuss how the directions are going to be due to a current carrying conductor, because magnetic field and field lines we discussed only with respect to a bar magnet. Bar magnet is a permanent magnet, whereas a current carrying conductor is called as a temporary magnet. Okay, so about this temporary magnets we will start in the next class. Till then, I want you all to revise these concepts. Is it clear? So any other doubts that you have, you can reach out to me on the student support number. I don't see any one of you making use of it. So please reach out if there is any doubt. And if you need any other help in terms of academics, please reach out to me. Okay.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it. That's it from my side for today. I'll see you all in the next class.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.